We live. Shalom. Let's pop it up. Shalom, DC, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew organization or Christian church on the face of the planet. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible, that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible, and that our oppressor, the white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. We're going to get straight into, hop into what we're our lesson for today is. We're going to get a little, today is a Monday night history class, and we're going to get into a little bit of history. And we're going to go into Abraham and Lot. First, we're going to get into how the Most High views or holds actual righteous men who are have a real zeal for him and actually obey his commandments, and how he holds them in such regard, how he holds the righteous men in such regards that he'll and the destruction, the path of destruction. If this righteous man says, can you please spare so and so, or can you please spare this section of the city, or can you please spare this town or this family? If that is a real, true righteous man according to the Most High will actually honor that request and spare that, and honor that request and spare whatever that honest, righteous man have requested. We're going to get into the precept, the story of how the Most High actually looks at the righteous men in the scriptures. And these righteous men are our forefathers. You know what I'm saying? We've grown up to believe that we are nothing but, low lives, degenerates, nothing but pimps and nothing but ball players and rappers and gangsters and hoodlums, whatnot. But in reality, we come from a different cloth. We're cut from a different cloth. Our forefathers are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? The righteous men of the Bible, the ones who the Most High destroyed entire cities and entire nations for our sake. You know what I'm saying? That brought us out of captivity and destroyed people for us. Right. And not only that, but he gave us the way for us to wield that power on this earth. Why? Because he wants us, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true Jews, according to the Bible, to rule this kingdom. Not just this kingdom, but this entire planet. And because we have turned our back on him, he has to teach us a lesson. But once we actually get back to being in accordance with his way, his word, his vibe, his spirit, there is nothing that can stop us from complete rulership. And once we actually get that rulership, the whole world will be, in peace and harmony. Why? Because we rule righteously. We rule righteously. And right. When we don't rule, you get a lot of, transgenders. You get a lot of the cancel culture. You get a lot of pedophiles from our leaders. And then, we actually know that our leaders are molesting our kids, and we don't do anything about it. That's not righteous. You know what I'm saying? That's hell. We're living in hell right now. But let's get into the scripture and show the history of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read that from the top. Going from chapter 18. Read it from the top.
The book of Genesis, chapter 18, verse 1. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lift up his
No sweat. Keep going.
And he lift up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground.
So it said in the first verse, said the Lord appeared unto him in the plains, right? So he was chilling. He was at his tent door. It was a hot day. He had the door open. He was sitting by the door. He was with the Most High, and three men suddenly appeared to him. Once he seen these men, he automatically knew who they were and who they represented. You know what I'm saying? He knew whose message they were carrying. You know what I'm saying? So what he did, he did what he was taught to do, and that was to humble himself. So when he did that, he ran to them. He went to them hastily, and he bowed himself towards the earth. Right. So he's like, "Hey, this is his house, mind you. You know what I'm saying? This is his house.
Right.
Someone else's house. You know. So someone." Imagine this. You see someone just appears at your door, and then you bound yourself to them. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we think right now. But he knew exactly who they were. They came to his house, and he immediately. This is the type of people we are. This is the type of people we are. We're according to history, recent history. We're all out of order. Why? Because we model ourselves after our oppressor, and what our oppressor does, we think is right, but everything that they do is wrong and out of order, and that's why this whole entire world is upside down the way it is right now. It's because we follow after them instead of following after the Most High. So when these men came to his door, he bowed himself. He made himself real humble to them. Keep going.
Verse 3, and said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant.
Keep going.
Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree.
All right, so he's saying, since he knows who they are, he knows what message. He doesn't know what message they carry, but he knows the message that they carry is coming from the Most High, right? So he's saying, he's humbling himself. He knows who they are. He's saying, like, listen, if it be well, if it be all right, if it be too wild, just stay a while. You know what I'm saying? Have something to eat, have something to drink, rest yourself, under the shade of the tree, and you can be well. So it's kind of sort of like if we get like Commander General YAHANNA comes through, or one of the generals, or one of the captains, or one of the officers to come through, and it doesn't even have to be a man above you. It could be a man below you. Comes to your city. You know what I'm saying? It'll be honorable to give them rest, to give them rest.
Right.
And this is what Abraham is showing. He is our forefather, and he was at one time the leader of the nation, right? So keep
going. Verse 5, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, so do as thou hast said.
So basically saying, all right, we're gonna do exactly what you said. We're gonna take some rest. We're gonna get under the shade of this tree. We're gonna eat. We're gonna drink. We're gonna have some rest, and then we're gonna go on about our business, right? So keep going. Like I said, this brother already knew that they had a message. He knew that where they were coming from, or who they were coming from, and what they were. He didn't know exactly what they were going to do, but that's why he's hey, stop. Just chill out, relax. I'm gonna give you some food, some water. I'm gonna give you some water, a base to wash your feet and whatnot. Because in that time, the custom was you come into someone's house, you give them something so that they can clean themselves with. It's hot, it's dusty. They're in a climate where they attract a lot of dirt and dust because of just the climate that they were in. So you give them something to rest. This is part of their rest. Keep going.
Verse 6. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, make ready quickly, 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth.
All right, so what he's saying, he quickly went to his rib and told Sarah to quickly make this stuff. Now, what people really don't understand is Abraham was a very wealthy man. He had many possessions. Some of the possessions that he had was servants. He had many servants. He had many sheep. He had many cattle, many heads of cattle. He could have easily told one of his servants to go and do this thing. But instead of telling his servants to go and do this thing, he went and told his rib to go and do this thing. There's a difference between, you know, having a servant do something and then having your rib do something. You know what I'm saying? There's something spiritual. It's kind of like saying, you know, I can get these people to do this. They may do a good job, but if I want this job to be done to the T, I'm going to get the best of the best, and my rib is the best one to fulfill this task. So he went and got his rib to do this thing, right? All right, keep going.
Come. Verse 7. And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it.
Just like I said, he had many heads of cattle. He had servants. So he went out and picked the right one. He didn't go out and pick, you know, had someone pick just, you know, regular, you know, sheep that's on his, you know, last leg and is about to die. He went out and got a young one, a nice young lamb, and then he gave it to one of his servants, and he dressed it. He hastened and dressed it. And what does that mean? To dress it, to slaughter it and clean it up and prepare it for cooking. So this is what that means. Keep going.
Come. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat.
So all right, so just like I was saying, he made a meal for these visitors, right? He made a meal for these visitors, and he sat and broke bread with them. Keep going.
And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. Mm-hmm. Verse 10. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son.
Right.
And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him.
Right.
Now,
so he's given him a prophecy. He's given him a prophecy that he's going to have a son. Right now, Sarah is barren. She's in her old age at this time. She's pretty much given up on the thought of bearing children. Right. So she hears this, even though she's in the tent and they're outside by the tree. She hears this. Keep going.
Come. Verse 11. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women.
Right. Just like therefore, she didn't have any kids. She couldn't have any kids up until that point. Keep going.
Come. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also?
What she's saying right there is like, you serious? You know, we're both old. I'm old. He's old.
Right.
In order to have a kid, you know, certain things are gonna have to be done.
Right.
Things back then, things now are not like things back then. You couldn't do in vitro fertilization, you know, have a test tube baby as what we called it back in the day.
Right.
You couldn't do that. In order to get pregnant, you had to actually put in the work. And she was laughing.
Right.
Like, what? We gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? They didn't have little blue pills, you know, back then.
Right.
You know, pop the pill and, you know, all right, you know, wait 30 minutes on a full stomach, and then, you know, we're gonna get to work. They didn't have it. They had other type things. I forget what it was called. Man, Jim Muhammad brought this out in class one time. Escapes my mind, but they had different herbs and things that they got together. But at this point in time, she was like, "Yo, we old." It sounded like we ain't been doing nothing for a minute. So it was like,
Right.
we actually gonna do that, and then I'm gonna get pregnant. Like, come on. So she laughed in herself when that happened. Keep going.
Come. Verse 13. And the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which am old?
Right.
Is anything too hard for the Lord?
Is anything too hard for the Most High? Nothing is too hard for the Most High. He did everything. He created the earth. You know what I'm saying? He populated the earth. He gave intelligence to certain beings. He gave natural instincts to others. Nothing is too hard for the Most High. So you say, why are you laughing at that? This is but a small thing. I did all these great wonders, and you think I can't allow you to conceive? Keep going.
Come. Verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son.
Right. Keep going.
Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. He said,
she was afraid because she knew the type of power that this person wielded. She was like, that wasn't me. I wasn't laughing. What you talking about? That wasn't me. All right, keep going.
Right. Go. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way.
Right. So they were going toward Sodom. He was like, well, let me show you the way. You go this way. I'm going to show you the road, the proper road to get you there the right way. Keep going.
Come. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
So
seeing that Abraham.
Hold on 1 second. So he's saying, the angel, the one of the men that appeared to Abraham, he's asking the Most High, hey, should I tell him what I'm about to do? Because they came there on a mission.
Right.
They purposely came through so they can meet up with Abraham on their way to destroying Sodom. Right? So he's saying, should I let him know what's going on? Keep going.
Come. Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord, to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him.
So basically what he's saying, he's giving props to Abraham, because he's saying, this man, I know he is actually going to do what the Most High commands. He's going to teach his children, and his children's going to teach their children, and it's going to be an everlasting thing of that his lineage will actually follow the Most High. So basically what he's saying is this man is a righteous man. And the children that he's going to raise up, the families that he's going to raise up, they're going to be righteous, because he's going to instill in his family what the Most High wants and how to follow exactly the way the Most High wants to be followed. Keep going.
Verse 20. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which has come unto me, and if not, I will know.
So basically, he's saying there's a lot of stuff coming up out Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
There's a lot of suffering and cries and foulness and wickedness that's coming up out of Sodom, and the Most High hears it, and he's going to do something. He's about to do something about it. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 22. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked?
And he says, will thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? It's like, 1 second. Mark Pryor, you're saying big ups for feeding Haiti. That's big ups to the Most High. That's big up to Commanding General YAHANNA and all the men that he raised up under him. That's big up to all the men above me that have actually stayed in the truth and followed the law, statutes, and commandments, and kept the spirit of the Most High on them all these years when no one else was especially Commanding. I'm talking right now, and specifically Commanding General YAHANNA, when no one else was with him, when he was by himself. Everybody left him. He still kept the not just the laws, but he kept the spirit of the Most High on him, the spirit of brotherhood, and that's the only reason why we was able to those brothers down in Texas was able to feed Haiti like the way they did.
Right.
So I just want to give big ups to Command General YAHANNA, give big ups to the Texas camp, all those brothers that came together. It wasn't just Texas; it was a few other brothers from other surrounding states and whatnot that had a hand in it. Even a brother up in New York and a brother up in Canada that actually had to play a big role in feeding, not just physically feeding them, but they were spiritually feeding them the scriptures. As they were getting passed out, food and essentials for them, the women, and the children. All that's coming from how the way Commanding General YAHANNA stayed in the truth when no one else was with him is the same way Abraham stayed in the truth when no one else was with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's big up to the Most High. The Most High in Christ, big up to Commander General YAHANNA, to all the generals, all the captains, and all the officers, and all the troopers that had a hand in feeding our brothers and sisters that was on board, living under a goddamn bridge. When no Christian church organization, when the federal government was out there on horses whipping our brothers and sisters, we actually went down there, we were turned away, and then we found another way to get out there and deliver on brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? When no one else would do it.
Okay.
No one else didn't want to do it. No one else could do it. But the UPK, the Most High. And the Most High allowed us to do that. So big up to the Most High. You got something, brother?
Oh, yeah, Salaki, sir, if I may. And Al Sharpton went down there days later and got rejected. So the Lord, we see who the Lord was with.
Exactly. He tried to get a photo op, try to deliver a speech or whatnot. He was out there for about 2 minutes and had to turn away because he was, just like you said, rejected. The people rejected him, knowing exactly who he was and what he stood for. And he was not there for the people. He was there for himself. And that's it.
Right.
People spit him out.
Right.
He came over there to try and, I don't know what in the world he was trying to do, but he came over there trying to get a photo op, and the people utterly rejected him.
Right.
They didn't reject, the men of the Lord, of the men of the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? This dude came down there with cameras. All we did was come down there with boots, braids, and food, water, and essentials. And the Most High's, law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we came down there with. And brother. Right. And that's how we was able to feed our brothers and sisters that was living under a bridge. Let me get back to our lesson at hand. Where were we?
We are at verse 24, sir.
Verse 24. Read 23 again, Baba Kashar.
Verse 23, Genesis chapter 18, verse 23. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked?
So now Abraham knows what's going on. Why these three men came by and they're heading towards Sodom and Gomorrah. He knows why, and the reason why he's asking this question is because he has family that's living in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? He has a nephew that's living there, and he loves his nephew, and he doesn't want his nephew or his family to be hurt in what's going in the destruction that is about to happen. So he's asking, you're going to destroy this whole city. I understand that. But you're going to destroy the righteous along with the wicked? That's what he's asking. That's what he's asking. Keep going.
Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein?
So he's saying, just for example, suppose there's 50 righteous people that's within the city. You gonna destroy the whole city for if there's 50 righteous in there? This is what the response was.
Salakia, verse 25. That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?
Read that one more time, Baba Shah.
Verse 25. That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?
So he's saying that be far from thee. Like, I know you can do all things, but you gonna destroy the good with the bad,
right?
That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna. There's a precept about this. As soon as I said that, the tear and the wheat. You know what I'm saying? They're mixing the good and the bad. They're mixing together. What did they do? They allowed the tear and the wheat to grow up. When it came time to harvest, then they separated it. It's always a way out from destruction from the Most High. There's always a way out. Sometimes that way out, is big and glaring. As big and glaring as brothers on the corner telling you to stop being whores and pimps and drug dealers and drug users and murderers and thieves. It could be as wide as that, as bright as that, or it could be as subtle as you about to go and do that thing that you're not supposed to do, and just something keeps you from doing that. You know what I'm saying? We all have had that feeling of we're about to go and do some dirt. We know we're about to go and do some dirt, and then right when we're about to go and do it, we kind of hesitate for a second, like maybe I shouldn't do this thing. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Should I? Maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm not gonna stick a gun in my brother's face and take all his belongings. I'm not gonna even though I'm hungry and I have nothing. If I just sell this, these few little dime bags, I can, eat and bring some food home for my family. But a lot of times, most of the time, we don't listen. We don't heed to that. We don't heed to that, that little thing, that innate thing that's inside of us that says we shouldn't do that thing because we know it's not right. And because of that, a lot of destruction comes. We get chased from that jealous boyfriend or that jealous husband that we try to take his rib from, or we get chased from the cops from selling drugs or doing all sorts of wickedness, or we got to go to the clinic because we was messing with that wrong woman that we shouldn't have been messing with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those are the consequences. Those are the consequences. When all we could have done was listen to the brothers that were screaming on the corner that we need to change our lives, or just that innate thing, that small little thing that we know we weren't supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Did you have something?
Oh, la.
Yeah, Salaki says there's Salaki. I'm not sure, but Tefillate Anaya Brown is. I don't think is anything we can do for that right now. But we're gonna keep moving. I understand what you're saying, but we're gonna keep moving. So he's saying, are you really gonna destroy the good along with the wicked? Now this is the response to what Abraham was saying. Keep going.
Come. Verse 26. And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes.
So he's saying, if I find 50, I'm going to spare the whole city. As much hurt and grime and horribleness that comes up from this specific place. Listen. There's so much disgustingness and evil that went on in Sodom and Gomorrah that we classify certain behaviors coming straight from them. You know what I'm saying? We classify certain behaviors coming straight from them. Sodomites come from, Sodom. Gomorrah, and what does Gomorrah sound like? Sounds like a disease, right? It sounds like a disease. So it was this place is so bad that even now, however many years, how many thousands of years after the destruction of this place, we still equate some sort of behavior and disease coming from this place. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it is. It was. That's how bad this place was. And yet the Most High says, if there's 50 righteous men, I won't destroy this place. That's powerful right there. That's how much honor he's giving to a righteous man. If there be 50, as disgusting as this place is, this city is, these cities, it's not just one city. As disgusting and vile as these cities are, if there's 50 righteous people living here, I ain't gonna destroy it. Keep going.
Right. Verse 27. And Abraham answered, Salakia. And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes.
So he's saying he's again giving up props to the Most High. He knows the recognition there. He's the head, and I am subordinate under him. Nothing but ash. That's what he's saying. He's saying you are great, and I am not. Keep going.
Right. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it.
Why is he saying, there lack 5? He's saying that because he knows that city. You know what I'm saying? We're in DC right now, and we know how this city really is. The standard that the Most High actually has. We know that there ain't nothing but a handful of people that can meet the Most High's standards. Just like Abraham, he gave a number. He threw a number out there. He was like, all right. He said the Most High said he ain't gonna destroy it if it's 50, but I know it ain't 50. So let me see if maybe all right, it's not 50. What about 45? Most High said, all right, well, yeah, I ain't gonna destroy it if it's 45, right? So keep going.
And he spake, Salakia, verse 29, and he spake unto him yet again and said, peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake.
So again, he was like, I know, It ain't 45. Well, let's see if we can dwell his number down. Why? Because he knows his family is there. His brother, his nephew is there. Lot and his family is there. So he's saying like, well, all right, well maybe if it's not 40, 45, maybe 40. Trying to get it that basically down to his family, Lot and his family. He's trying to get it down to that number, and he's just dwindling it down, seeing what's the Most High's limit. So he's asking these very pointed questions. Keep going.
This is verse 30. And he said unto him, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there.
Right. So he got it from 50, now he got it down to 30. Keep going. And he said, the Most High is not going to destroy it if it be 30 righteous people there.
Verse 31. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake.
So as wicked as this city is, he's dwindling down the number. He's like, because he's given credence to the righteous men. He's given honor to these righteous men. If there be 20 righteous men there, I'm not going to destroy these utterly wicked cities that we're going to name certain behaviors after these cities, thousands of years after it's gone. That's how disgusting this city is.
Right.
It'd be 20. I'm still not going to destroy the cities. Keep going.
And he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once.
So he keeps dwindling it down like, Slocky, sir. I know I said it this number, but if I could, will it be this number? Keep going.
And I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake.
Right, keep going.
Verse 33. And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place.
And he turned unto his place. So right there, he got the number down to 10. And then the Most High, was like, all right, we're done here. If there be 10 righteous men, I'm not going to destroy the city. I've heard General Muhammad say this, on many, many different occasions when he was saying, and it's coming from this precept that if it's not for, and it's not just this precept, but there's other precepts similar to this in the Bible where the Most High would have destroyed so many other different places had it not been for the righteous men in that city, trying to get the Most High's people to turn back to Him. And that's exactly what we do, not just every Saturday. What we do is every single day that we are having a class, or we're having an event, or we're making a post on social media to show our people our sin, so that we can actually turn away from them. This is us doing what the Most High has done, and doing what our forefathers have shown for us to do righteously. And the Most High is actually honoring us by not destroying the city. I've heard I've heard this from many men above me who says, if there's a precept specifically saying, and I'm paraphrasing what the precept says, but if you're righteous, if you're in the truth, whether you be the man or the woman, and your significant other, your husband, if you're the man and your wife is not in the truth, and your children are not in the truth, or if you're the wife, you're the rib, and your husband is not in the truth, the Most High honors that. and spares them for your sake. Just like, you know, he does it on the household level, he does it as a community and citywide level as well, because they're righteous men in DC. DC has not been utterly destroyed like Sodom is about to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like there's, you know, righteous men in New York and London and Trinidad and Tobago and you know, Toronto and Montreal and Sao Paulo and all these other places. Those places have not been utterly destroyed because of the righteous men that are actually in there.
Right.
And these are we're reading the very precept. The Most High says, if it, you know, be X amount of number, I'm not going to destroy the city. So all you people out there that is not actually in the truth, you owe your lives to the men that are and the women that are in the UPK holding the truth down. You got to give it up to Commander General YAHANNA, who's held on to the truth for so long when he had absolutely no help physically down here, but all he had was the Most High,
right,
and a zeal. All the things that he has been through, I've only heard but a fraction of the things that he's been through to keep this truth alive. You know what I'm saying? And because he's been through that, because of the things that I've heard, the fraction that I've heard he's been through, we got to feed Haiti. You know what I'm saying? We got to go down to the border with a truck full of goods and feed our brothers and sisters that was on the border, that was living under the bridge, going into cartel land, and nothing happening to us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A large caravan going in where there's no street lights and nothing but cartel folk radioing in like, hey, there's a big convoy coming through, and nothing happening to us. Why? Because we're honoring the Most High, and the Most High is honoring our safety and delivering the goods to our brothers and sisters that was down there. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what, you know, one mission that's been broadcasted. You know how many times Commander General YAHANNA has fed the poor? You know what I'm saying? Clothed fed the hungry, clothed the poor, and the widow and all that stuff. You know how many times he's done that hasn't been broadcasted? Sloppy. Let's keep going. Let's keep going on and see what's next.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even.
Right.
And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
Exactly. Why? Because he knew Abraham taught his people how to recognize, you know, who was of the Most High. And Lot is Abraham's nephew. So he taught him exactly how to recognize it and how to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, and to keep the Most High spirit on him. But that draw of the city was too great. So it drew him away, and he had a wicked woman as well. Drew him away from being in the protection of Abraham, and now he's in the city. But now that he's in the city, he still recognizes, who they are. And once he actually recognizes who they are, he humbles himself utterly and completely at the gates. So it's in front of everybody. He humbles himself completely and utterly. He puts his face to the ground and he gives them homage. Keep going.
Right. Verse 2. And he said, behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways.
So basically,
and they said,
he's saying, listen, Slakia, sir, it's dangerous out here. I pray, just come on with me. Come with me to the crib. You know, we're gonna get you something to eat. We're gonna get you washed up. We're gonna get you cleaned up. You can stay there, through the night. After that, we're gonna get up early, and then we're gonna get you up out of here. It's not safe for you to be here. So he knows the vibe of the city. He knows how the city is, and he's trying to protect them.
Right.
Protect them. Right. So keep going.
Come. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night.
So they saying, nah, we come here for all the smoke. We know what's going on. We know what's the going on here. And we want it all. We want all this smoke. Right? So that's what he's saying. Keep going.
And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him.
So he kept saying, like, listen, he stated his case, and they heeded. He stated his case, very convincingly. Like, all right. If it'll shut you up, all right, we'll go with you. We'll go with you. Keep going.
And entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they laid down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter.
It's some nasty, dirty, old and young Sodomites.
Right.
So they went in the house. And they did what he wanted to do. He basically Lot wanted to hide them out because he knew how these Sodomites were, and they're a bunch of vile, aggressive group of people. How do we know this? Because just ask Dave Chappelle and Netflix.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the special. But I want to see what joke he was talking about that they got these people so up in arms about. This community, the Legibbet community, they are so aggressive that they're trying to force this special to be taken off and force Dave Chappelle not to have any contact, basically have any platform anymore. That same spirit of forcing themselves onto people is the same thing that these Sodomites was doing back in the day. You got something?
Right. Salak here. That's why he said this might be my last, special. So,
he said that during the special?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it might be all right. Okay, I heard he might do one more, and then he ain't gonna actually do a special like the way he's doing right now. But yeah, this is the spirit. You ever shoot the dust? And this is the spirit that this city has, and this is what Lot was trying to. This is what Lot was trying to get these men away from, these angels away from. So he's trying to hide them out. But these Sodomites, the old and the young, same spirit of just forcing themselves on something that shouldn't be forced on. Like, come on. So they surrounded his brother's house. And started demanding some stuff. Let's read what they demanded.
Finish off the verse. Verse 4. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter.
Every quarter, like they were in every part of the doggone house, right? Keep going.
And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them.
That we may know them. Now, they said, where are the men? Where? Like These are some, yeah. What's up?
Salaki, sir, if I may, that would be just like the LGBTQ community was to
Yeah, yeah.
surround somebody's house and they all want a piece of one or two brothers. Hey,
That's totally, yeah. That's right. That's totally disgusting. These men,
Kawaka.
this community of people, the Legibbet community, this community is just rotten and nasty. Like, yo, exactly. So like I don't even like sharing food like that. You know, like a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? I see
Right,
people like, hey, let me get a bite of your sandwich. Nah, you can't get a bite of my sandwich. Take a piece
right,
of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to take a piece? I'll share. I'll cut it half and share it with you like that. But these other nations, they be like, hey, let me just get a bite of your sandwich. Nah. And to come and demand two men so that everybody will know you. That's in case you don't know what that means. When they say know you, that's the biblical way of saying that we may lie with you, have sex with you. So that's what they're saying. We want to
right,
know. We want to have sex with them. This ain't consensual. They're saying we want to rape them.
right.
We want to enforce our will upon them, and that's exactly what they're trying to do to Dave Chappelle. And it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I gotta see what this joke is all about. I gotta look it up. I gotta look it
God.
up and see what this joke is all about before they actually get away with it and try and I'm not even going to address that. Salaki.
Right, right.
Where are we?
We are at verse 6, sir.
We're at verse 6. Hold on.
Kawaka.
All right, keep going. Keep going.
Kawaka. Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him
So
and
basically,
said,
himself. All right. So he has a bunch of community members that are out demanding blood. Literally, they're out demanding blood from these two visitors that they've never seen before, and he's putting himself in between what the mob wants and what they actually have. These are some. They are known to be extremely violent. Just the act of sodomy is violence. Just the act of
right,
that's just is a violent thing, and they're saying we want to take it from you. So he's
right,
put himself in between a violent mob and his visitors, and he went out by himself and closed the door behind him. You know what I'm saying? That shows some
Kawaka.
sort of, that shows some heart right there. Just to go out and face him. A lot of people will just put their head through the door, like, or put their head out the window. Like, nah, just talk to him like that.
Right,
He actually went out and closed the door behind him, which shows you more about who he was or who he was with, because he was with Abraham. Abraham taught him everything he knows. And the very custom of him taking strangers into his home and feeding them and doing the things that he's done, warning them first, turn in and then leave very early, then coming in and then feeding them and doing all this stuff. That custom comes from Israel. It comes from the scriptures. It comes from our law, statutes, and commandments. It comes from brotherhood. He learned that from Abraham. And he's doing this thing that he's putting himself in harm's way to protect his company, his visitors. This is what our history is. This is what we do. We don't, nowadays we see something going on, in the streets or something happening with our neighbors, literal neighbors of our people, and we
right,
say it's none of our business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? But Lot, who was raised up under Abraham, taught him the way we're supposed to be, even though Lot is not our people. 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 Lot is not our people he was taught by Abraham, and he's actually practicing what Abraham taught him, and that was to protect your visitors, protect the people, the guests who are under your roof with your life, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. And for time's sake, we're going to cut it off right there, and we're going to continue on, Lord allow, next week.
Okay.
With that, Pastor, you have anything before I close out?
Nah, sir. I'm too wild.
All right, with that, I pass the class on to priest and officer. Our watch.
Okay. Give one courtesy. Give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam, Barak, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatha.
Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatha.
Yasmin, class dismissed.
Most High in Christ.